Okay.
So we're riffing off of something that we wrote in our book, Reflective Meditation, Cultivating Kindness and Curiosity in the Buddhist Company. And that's a little slogan we made up. I guess, and we did it for a retreat before that, right?
We did.
Easy does it. And it takes quite a bit of effort.
Hmm. I like that we're not stopping at easy does it. We're really bringing in these two things together, that this idea that we're going to take effort, it takes a lot of effort, but we also need some easy does it within that, and opposite. Because we're looking at some big topics here, like we're looking at old age, sickness, and death. We're looking at the political situation. We're looking at the climate situation. We're looking at AI and technology.
And perhaps so much more. Those are the ones we listed out, huh?
Yeah,
Uh, and they're stressful. They're all encompassing. They're challenging. They're full of unknowns. They can be disturbing. And it takes a lot of effort to be engaged, but not highly reactive.
right, right. So if there's no easy does it, which I mean, I think other language could be a kind of letting go, or in another tradition, it could be a surrender. But this kind of easy does it. These mind states seem to come more naturally or organically within the reflective meditation practice. We see them arise alongside the effort, or alongside conflict, or alongside drifting off and kind of falling to sleep during a meditation. That we're really want to be more on the lookout for these easy does it kinds of states that come to us.
Right. And as you implied, sometimes in unexpected ways, not like the common way. Um, so last night I watched the full YouTube, well, I watched it on YouTube, but presentation of the Oregon and Portland city leaders responding to Trump's um, threats to, bring full military force into Portland. And I realized when I was thinking on our morning's talk, they're all were sort of saying easy does it. That's what they're all sort of saying. Um, and that another word they used for it is don't take the bait. In other words, don't be reactive to Trump's provocations and lies about Portland, but keep doing what you're doing. And, keep, even the police chief was really encouraging us to keep peacefully protesting. So, yeah, we really need Easy Does It to not be reactive and make things worse.
It's interesting because in California, we were in that situation a little while ago. And in fact, we're taking a lot of effort to change redistricting to counter some of the
Hmm.
threats that we've been given. So it's interesting that within a reaction, also, when do you take the effort to then direct it and use more energy and strategy? And when do you say, okay, we're not going to go there, we're not going to take the bait? It's These are not clear cut rules or definitions that we can use, but talking about it kind of broadens the field.
Right. And I think we need both sometimes at the exact same time, that we need to have an Easy
Yeah.
Does It as we're taking the effort. Make
Right.
it right.
Right.
Really allows us to take more appropriate action,
Right.
put our effort in more appropriate ways.
Right. And internally, we know the difference, I think. I know the difference of that kind of tension of pushing through something when the easy hasn't naturally come, or, I can't kind of get to that. And there is a kind of what you talked about in psychological language of being dysregulated, that that your nervous system feels dysregulated. You can't quite calm it down, or you can't quite wake it up to respond more appropriately.
Hmm. And from a more, as it said, being within the window of tolerance, then that's the area where where we're not too hyped up or too numbed down That's, I think, the place from which we can take appropriate, skillful action, which I
Mhm.
think we are called to do in all of these topics.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this inner and outer, like looking at it within our own lives and our personal relationships, and then also looking at how we bring it into the way we are a citizen of the world, the way we are in our society. One of the students in our Tai Chi class the other day was talking about she's when she anytime she feels like she does easy does it, she's lazy. In her mind, it just is an automatic translation. And this is a very productive person. Like I would rarely, give the attribution of lazy to her, but inside, that's what it feels like when she goes to rest or take time off or not pay attention in a certain way. The word lazy comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a deeply conditioned one,
It
deeply
is.
conditioned, and probably a real feature of our U.S. culture.
Right, right. And also a um, uh, idea that even meditation shouldn't be productive. You shouldn't get to something. It should just be you sit and, just do the task of following the breath. You should be able to just relax.
Right, right. So it is inevitable that we will be dysregulated at times in these times, maybe in all times, actually, but maybe it feels like the barometer of stress and dysregulation is way up, or the thermometer, perhaps is the right word. Um, and so, with that being said, meditation at times offers a break from the intense stress, even when we might be, or even when we're going more deeply into what stresses us, or perhaps another way of saying that is on either end of that. It's a really common thing that you go into you're very stressed and suddenly plop into, it feels like a plop, into a more easeful state of mind, and vice versa. You could be in a very easeful state of mind, and suddenly the stuff that bothers you pops up. I actually really trust that process.
Mm, mm. And then you add in a dose of reflection and you look back at it and you see, oh, I was more relaxed than I thought, or I was more putting more effort in than I even knew. So, you get a chance to redo it right after the meditation, relook at it, review it.
And I think that's really important because if there are really disturbing elements in your meditation, or agitating, or whatever word fits best, then they can overshadow the more subtle, more
Right.
restful places. So we really need to look back to rediscover them.
Well, I think we'll end here today. Nelly, does that sound good?
Sounds good.
I will ring the bells. I think it's my turn.